Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, host of the Leaders of the House podcast. Today, I have another wonderful guest for you. My new good friend, Heather from beautiful Nova Scotia, the east coast of Canada. We had a nice chat about a week or so ago. And I just learned a few good things about her. And that's why she's on a podcast because she's doing really good out there. I mean, she's a really impactful, heart centered person doing a lot of good out there. By profession, she's an accountant, CPA since 1984, financial advisor. And the wonderful thing about her is that she has a beautiful ability to make people feel good. And she's training people to make the shift in their life, to take control of their life about money, recognizing where they want to be, and most importantly, have clarity. And that's something that a lot of people are struggling. We're just talking about that before going live. And so super excited about that. One thing I like about her is that she's also a podcaster just like me. She has a wonderful podcast that I love the name, Prosperity and Possibilities. And she helps people recognize their possibilities and give them ways to increase their prosperity. And another great thing about her is that she's blessed with incredible skill, talent of being able to get inspiration, to get downloads regularly, 5 to 10 nights a month, where she's getting amazing ideas from God, from universe, from whatever. We're gonna talk about that because that's very fascinating. So it's gonna be a beautiful conversation. So Heather, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, it's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Pleasure's all mine. So as I told you last time, the focus of this podcast is for me to have a look under the hood to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, to get to know you as a human being, because people like to do business with people they can connect and trust as a personal level first. And that time, if they can connect with you as a person, then doing business is going to be a natural progression. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So for people who don't know you, tell us, as a person, as a human being, who's Heather?
Who is Heather? Heather is a person who loves to be happy, loves to have other people be happy, loves her freedom, likes to travel, try new things, Highland dancer,
Wow.
karate, blue belt.
Wow.
Let's see, just happy, very happy person, always recognizing the good side. If there's a silver lining anywhere in a cloud, I will find it.
Beautiful. Speaking of being happy and happiness, tell us, what makes you happy?
Me. Happiness is an inside job. There's
Totally.
my fiance is totally off the hook anytime I'm not in a good mood. He's like, did I do something? It's like, no, babe, you're not responsible for my happiness. That's me.
That's key.
It is. There's a little stick figure picture I've seen before where there's two stick figures and one of them's holding a jar that says happiness, and the other one comes up and says, oh, where'd you get that? I've been looking everywhere for it. And they're like, I made it myself.
I
So,
love that. Yes.
yeah,
Okay, perfect. Now, tell us, what makes you smile?
everything you can think of. Like, if just stopping and recognizing where you are, how wonderful life is, just, I guess, gratitude. It would be the best way to put it. Just getting out of your head, getting out of the busy mind, and stopping long enough to recognize where you are. Like, sometimes when I'm outside here, because this is a beautiful little town, right? And if you're out walking, if you've ever read a book that's set in this fantastic setting where it's like the character is walking down the street and into the woods, and like, that's me, that's my life. It's a storybook, right? I mean, yeah, you have your challenges, but if you look at it that way, you're the author and
Totally.
also the characters. So you can rewrite your story as you see fit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. Happiness comes from within. Absolutely. And we're not the only person that's responsible for your happiness is yourself. That is
Yes.
so powerful. The soonest we get to understand that and embrace that, the better is going to be for us, our sanity, and everyone around us, because no one is responsible for making you happy. Sure, someone can make you happy for the moment by doing something nice or whatever, but ultimately, real happiness is from within.
But no, they can't. It's still your choice. If you
Hmm.
look at it this way, if there's someone around you who's miserable or
Hmm.
suffering,
Hmm.
if you were able to make them feel better, you would. You can't. It is not within your control. It's all within their mind. No matter
Very
how
true.
good things are or how bad things are, even if somebody is doing fantastic things to make you feel wonderful, if you're bound and determined to be miserable, you will be. They
Hmm.
can't be responsible for your happiness.
Very
Sooner you
true.
realize that, better off you'll be.
Totally. Now, since you love talk, I mean, since this happiness is such a powerful part of your life, tell us what makes your heart sing? What makes you come alive?
A few things. Music and dancing,
Mhm.
always. I love those. But when I can actually help somebody and see the impact and see knowing that I've made a difference and
Mhm.
seeing that, that always brings me up too. So those are three of the big ones. I always get
Yes.
people to make a list of the things that do make them happy, but you have to do it when you're in a good mood, because when you're in a bad mood, you can't think of them.
Totally. Totally. And then when you make a list, and that's going to even further decrease the likelihood of you getting in a bad mood. So, so,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
another benefit of it. Absolutely. Wow. Now, on
Music's
the,
powerful though.
oh, absolutely. Music is one of the most powerful vehicles out there. Absolutely. You know, thanks to music, that's how I learned two languages without taking a single class. Sorry, three languages. Let me correct that: Italian, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish. Learned it all through music and dancing.
Wow.
And I know so many people that learned a language because of music. You know, who's the most famous example? Probably one of the most famous Canadians in the world, Celine Dion. Growing up, she didn't speak a word of English. And because she loved music, that's how she grew up in Quebec, is French speaker.
Yeah.
And because she loved music, she learned English to listening to songs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that. I'm trying to refresh my Spanish. I used to be bilingual.
Oh, you spoke Spanish. That's nice. Awesome. Where
I
did you learn it?
studied it at university,
Oh,
but then I
okay.
had no one to speak to and I forgot
Yes.
it. And now if I go south and I do speak Spanish, they just come back because I have a very good accent. And
Yeah.
I get compliments on the accent, but well, I'm very good at accents anyway. So
Oh,
no,
yeah. Oh, yes. I like the we just did the British accent just for a second. That was very nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Now tell us, what scares you?
Failure, letting
Mm.
people down, letting myself down, imprisonment,
Oh,
just,
yes.
and I don't mean in jail. I mean having my freedom taken away.
Oh, yes. That's a big issue nowadays. Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I've had it. I didn't like it. I'm
Oh, yeah.
free and I'm not going back.
Oh, absolutely. There's no turning back. Freedom is the most invaluable thing in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. Now tell us, what makes you sad and angry?
Anger doesn't come up very often in my life. In fact, if you go by that movie Inside Out, where there were the characters, I say that anger has been on Valium my whole life, and he's over in the corner. And the only person that people, there were two that ever woke him up were boyfriend and husband, who were both um, mentally abusive. Those ones would wake him up. Other than that, in grade 12 in grade 12 I got angry once. People in school talked about it for 2 weeks because nobody had ever seen me angry. So anger is not one that gets a lot of time. Sadness, oh, it could be a multitude of things. If I'm an empath, so if
Mm.
I'm picking up on tragedy or emotions of other people, again, sadness was hogtied by happiness for years in my brain. They had to get reintroduced after I got single, just because I went by the Scarlett O'Hara line from Gone with the Wind, which is like, oh, I can't think about that now. If I think about that now, I'll go crazy. I'll think about that tomorrow. So,
That was awesome. Wow.
so I always put off the sadness, but now I do actually recognize my emotions when they come up, which sounds so weird for anybody who has not ever had to shut them down. But after 25 years, it takes a while to get back in tune with them. And fortunately, I'm not sad very often, and nothing's coming to my mind right now that I would have been sad about recently. So
Good. That's awesome. Now, tell us, what is your number one personal superpower?
I can make people feel happy.
Mm,
That's
that's a good
that's
one.
I didn't even know that was my superpower, but I was talking to a friend and she said something that made me go, wait a minute, you mean it's just me? She's like, yeah. She said, I talk to other people. I don't know that I'm going to feel better afterwards. She said, every time I pick up the phone to call you, I know I'm going to feel better when we get off the call. And I'm like, huh, did not know that, because I'm always there. So I don't know. But yeah,
Wow.
I have a magic about me, that and children love me.
Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely.
It's like I've had a child in the mall come up and put his head on my lap before.
That's amazing. Wow. Awesome. Now, you like traveling, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. Tell us your very first trip you ever took.
By myself, like not going somewhere with my parents.
Up to you. Whatever, whether with parents as a child or by yourself.
Okay, because the first trip I was 2.5, or actually 1.5. We came to Nova Scotia from Montreal. So that I don't remember a lot of that trip. So we'll go to the first one alone. I guess that was the day after graduation from Acadia. I hopped on a plane to go live in London for 2 months on a student work abroad program. That was fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a total adventure because there were no cell phones.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, let me take you on a different type of travel down memory line. Go back to when you were a young girl. You know, when we're kids, family, friends, parents, teachers ask us, so Heather, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then?
Uh, I wanted to, when I was really young, I wanted to be famous and I wanted to be a princess.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't mean just a princess, like I want to be a princess. I mean, Mom, how old is the prince? How old are the princes in England? Because like I was checking into, I was 5, but I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
no, I got to do some research here. How old are they? Because like, okay, Edward's the only option. He's the youngest.
Mom, how do I become a princess? How do I become a prince? Now it's a good question to ask as a kid for sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, I had plans. No, but I wanted to be everything. It's the weirdest thing. Like I wanted to be a hairdresser so I could cut my own hair and my family's hair. I wanted to be a mechanic so I could fix my car. And I'm still like, that's I have to put the brakes on for the learning sometimes, because that's that's one of my purposes here, is to
Mm,
help people. And because of that, I'm constantly filling my tool belt with knowledge. So I know how to do so many different things. And that's because I like to help other people, and having all that knowledge is a way to do it. So yeah, I actually wanted to be everything.
that's awesome. Now, let's stay back to when you were a child. You know, growing up in school, what was your favorite subject?
I didn't have a favorite. I was really excited when we were leaving the elementary school to go to what the high school here is grade 7 to 12, because I saw that it said gymnastics.
Mm,
They just meant gym. I was so pissed off because I thought I was going to get to do stuff like they did in the Olympics, gymnastics, right? No, I got to play volleyball. I still hate volleyball. It's like, wait a
Volleyball is
minute, this
fun.
isn't what I signed up for.
Okay.
What a ripoff. No.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have a favorite subject. There was subjects that were really easy, like accounting was super easy,
Really?
computer super easy. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. In the first section, like before a report card came out, I had done two things wrong in accounting, and that was one, I didn't put a double line across two columns. I only put it across one. And on a balance sheet, I didn't say less withdrawals. I just subtracted withdrawals. I thought withdrawals was fun, but I didn't say less. So those are the
Wow.
only two things I got wrong. So yeah, it was super easy.
It's funny for me. It's the opposite. For me, I was never a numbers guy, and I actually had to take accounting twice in college. Don't laugh at it, because I was
Oh,
bored out of my mind. I was so
oh, I
boring.
never said it was interesting.
I was completely phasing out, and I'm a dreamer, so always in my world, and
You should have taken one of the courses I had to take at university for my accounting degree, accounting theory.
oh,
Why is
that
an
sounds
asset an
sexy,
asset?
interesting. Oh yeah,
Oh God, that's all I remember from that class. I have no idea what it was about. It
at
was
least there
so
was
boring.
something. That's good,
Oh yeah.
Cool. Now, what was your very first job?
Oh, I worked for my dad at the gas station. He had a gas station. He was a mechanic, and I pumped gas,
That's
which
good.
was
Oh,
great as a girl because it's winter and it's cold, and you go outside, and they're like, "It's okay, sweetie, I'll get it." It's like,
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, sir. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Cool. Now, let's move forward to when you left. Let's talk about your path from the moment you left school to now. How would you describe your path? Would you say once you get into one lane, was it pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing, or was it like turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Uh, there's been some turns and twists, but
Mhm.
it hasn't been too curvy. Um, I became an accountant because March of my graduating year, I had to pick something, and I had done accounting for 2 years. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. I'll be an accountant. Applied to one university, Acadia, got in, did my degree with plans to be a CPA. Wanted to go to Scotland and England to live there so that I could really experience it. My grandmother's from Bristol and my grandfather's from Coalbridge, just outside Glasgow.
Oh
So I
wow,
did get up there as well.
you're really good with
Um,
accents. That's amazing.
I can do it.
Oh yeah.
As I said, if I can hear it in my head, I can do the accent. Um, but then I got married I got dumped by a guy first time in my life, and my self-esteem went in the toilet, and I married an asshole, excuse the language, sorry. But I was married to him far too long, and I had two wonderful children, my children. um, yes, he was the father, but he was not a father. It seemed like I had three children, not two. um, so I that was when my freedom was gone. He very much, he was older than me, and he would control me with his temper, and I was in total denial about being mentally abused, because then I would have had to do something, right? But 2012, I started working for Investors Group as a financial advisor. I took the courses for that, but the whole reason for that was um, it wasn't that I wanted to be a financial advisor. Again, it was a totally weird purpose. And that was a friend of mine had started working for them. And I knew that they flew her places for training, which of course meant I had to go and he couldn't come with me. Freedom. Hello, sign me up. So that's why I became a financial advisor.
Woohoo. Now that's a powerful, compelling reason to become a financial investor, if it is one.
Yeah, but I mean, like the courses that I had to do, I had to do to get licensed for insurance, and I had to get Mutual Fund Dealers Association
Mhm.
license, and those are supposed to be like 6 to 8 weeks to do the course. I did them both in 2 weeks and got 80s on the exams, which most people get
Wow.
in the 60s. So Yeah, it's again numbers and related financial, all that stuff. It's easy for me.
When did you notice that numbers were your thing? Was that something that you was a specific event, or you always knew that, hey, I'm good
No.
with numbers?
And again, it's not that the numbers outweighed anything else. They were just easy and I knew I could get a job as an accountant, whereas anything else, I didn't know that you could travel and teach, which is what I really want to do. Um, like there's so many, again, in a small town, you don't hear about all these
Yeah.
jobs that are different, right? Like, wait, you can get paid to go stay in hotels and you just have to write a review. Awesome. I never knew that, right? So it's I've always been a combination of right and left brain because I sculpt, I've carved Highland dancers like just
Oh,
with a knife, right? I can draw. I love painting. Well, I'm not not painting pictures, but just painting. Um, so there's a lot of right brain creative stuff. Like honestly, when I was a child, one thing I loved to do was take graph paper and make houses, like
wow,
floor plans for houses.
amazing.
I don't know. I just like doing it.
So architect was something that you wanted to become?
No, I never wanted to be an architect. I just like designing houses. And I'd
Wow.
have them on graph paper. So they were to scale, but I didn't allow for the walls thickness. That was just a line, right?
Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, I'm sure you heard the saying, change your story, change your life. And by the story, I mean what we keep on telling ourselves in our head all day long. So when you ever had to change your story to change your life or bring your life to where you want it to be, how did you do it? Did you do it with the help of friends, family, mentors, books, videos? So tell us the process you used to change your story to change your life.
Talking to friends is part of it. Sucking in as much knowledge as I could. Hay House Radio, all the authors there, getting their books, reading the books, listening to books. Determination. Um, I have tried so many different methods to get clear. I mean, there was it was a long path.
Yeah.
You know how plants, like there's an energy in your house. You've seen
Mhm.
Christmas cactuses, you know how they stand up nicely.
Yeah.
One of the one that I had in my house laid on the pot. I
Wow.
tried using popsicle sticks and string to stand it up, but it was just limp.
Wow.
I gave it to a friend and it just popped right up at her house. But the energy there, like one of my friends is a very gifted medium, and she said there was a shroud around me. It took a long time and a lot of work. So yeah, there's been different modalities. It's been a long path, but it's always been talking to other people and just absorbing knowledge and trying things myself, meditation, past life regressions, all sorts of
Wow.
things.
You've done a past life regression?
I have, yeah. Well, I've done the meditations to do them myself, and I also had the pleasure of Mary Scott does what she calls multi-life therapy. She doesn't
Oh,
call it, it's not past life, it's multi-life therapy. And also Penny Chason is a hypnotist, and she helped because I obviously, after 25 years, there's a lot to unpack,
yeah.
you know. And I did have a boyfriend before that for 3.5 years who also wasn't the greatest, but so there was a lot of things that just to let go of those final bits, because I was, after doing so much work, I had come a long way. There wasn't a lot left. It was more dealing with traumas and beliefs I had picked up along the way.
Okay. Wow. I had a call last week with a hypnotherapist, and she made an incredible suggestion. Instead of, getting to know, just like on any other podcast I had, she said, let's do not a past life regression, but a past life reading live for you, talking to your soul and to your energy, asking your energy, and for example, getting some information as to how old is your soul, what stage is it, whether young, middle, or advanced, where you're originally from, tell you about some of the major lessons and all that. We're supposed to talk for 20 minutes. We talked for 2 hours, absolutely phenomenal. And the only reason I had to end the call was because I had been on the doing calls nonstop from 10 a.m. and that was like 2 p.m. and I had another podcast right after that. So I had only 4 minutes to get ready, no time to eat anything, just grab some dried fruit or anything just to get some energy and not fall down. I mean, that was probably one of the most transformational, most captivating conversation I've had in a long time. And I'm glad I recorded it. That was on Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday of last week. And I watched that video at least 5 times since then. It's an hour and a half video. And then while talking to her live, I must have taken at least 2 pages of notes. So it was incredible for me that, wow. And I can't wait to do a proper past life reading. That's one of the things I want to do in next year. And actually, I also want to learn, hypnotherapy for myself, not as a business, but because I'm just curious. I want to learn it for myself, and be able to do it for myself and friends and family. Again, not for business, but just because I want to learn it.
Actually, you wouldn't really do well doing it with friends and family. Because Penny does teach people to become hypnotists as well. And having done the sessions, you would not be as effective with friends and family because there is such a level of opening up and going down. It wouldn't be as good for you to work with those.
Okay.
I did have an Akashic Records reading done by Sharon Cassano Lockman. She was, that was fascinating.
Well, before you hold that thought, so is there a difference between a past life reading and a Akashic record reading?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
To me, there is. No, I think it depends on who's doing the past life reading.
Okay.
For the past life regressions, usually you're dealing with incarnations,
Yes.
right? For the Akashic records, she went back and said where my soul incarnated, where hers was, and it's this other realm. I can't remember exactly where she said it was, but like she went in, she told me how many guides I had. And she said, when I asked for your guide, she said, I was brought to tears because your angels stepped forward. You have 93 angels. Yeah, I have 93 angels. It's a lot, but I need them.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
But we're ones that are, it's like a training place, and there's not a lot of souls that originate there, but I'm one of the ones that has.
From where?
I can't remember. Honestly, I'd have to go to my notes because again, it was a lot of information she gave me.
Sure.
She didn't do it live with me. She does it like got my name and address, and she does it with my permission
Of course.
another time, and then goes over it with me. So
Can
yeah,
a hypnotherapist also do an Akashic record reading, or you need to talk to an actual
possibly.
specialist?
I think for a hypnotist because what a hypnotist does is they help you to access it yourself. And we do all have access. It's not that we need someone else to read these for us. It's just that we may not be in tune to that because we all have the same ability to do that.
Sure.
But yeah, so I mean, I know hypnotherapy can take you back to past lives and unlock things, talents and skills you had in those past lives. I forget who it was I was listening to, it might have been Denise Lynn, was talking about when she had been doing a past life regression with someone, and the person was Chinese, didn't speak any English, so there was a translator there, but she took her
Yes.
back.
Was that Dr. What's his name? Weiss?
Weiss?
Yes,
Yes, it
yes.
could have been Dr. Brian Weiss. It could have been him.
Yes, yes. Because I remember that he was talking, he calls that Xeno, whatever, meaning that you speak a language that you don't speak now, but you used to speak in a different life.
Yeah,
And
she
the
started
Chinese
speaking
lady, yeah,
English during it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. With a San Francisco accent and all that, like a Bay accent. Yes, yes, yes. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. I'd love to go back and unlock my Gaelic.
So, if you had any skills or talents in the past life, if you can unlock them, are you able to fully recover those and use them in this
I have
life?
no idea. All I know is that interview with Brian Weiss, Dr. Brian Weiss, that I was listening to. And thank you for knowing who it was for
Oh,
sure.
I love it. I've been devouring anything I could for the past 2 years on him, on Dr. Robert Schwartz, and a couple of other guys. I mean, I've been fascinated by this since I've had my spiritual awakening since last year.
Dr. Joe Dispenza is another one who's really
Oh,
fascinating, but
really?
it's more
Okay.
epigenetics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there the people who he's training are actually healing people in hospitals. It's really cool stuff. Greg
And of
Braden and yeah, talks about
and
there's
of
a whole bunch of them, but
and of
in
course,
theory,
one that
and
is
you should.
really one that is really amazing. Unfortunately, she's not here anymore. Dolores Cannon. I love listening to her videos.
I don't know her.
Oh, go on YouTube, Dolores Cannon, phenomenal lady.
Okay.
Yeah, just put it on YouTube and you will be, I mean, it's going to be, you will be speechless. You'll be in love. She has incredible wisdom. She's the most endearing, lovely lady. You can talk. It's like you're listening to your grandma. You can talk to her for like hours and hours. Time just passed by. She has like 2 hour videos. I just play them and I'm just completely glued to the screen. I mean, she's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying? Sorry for interrupting you before that. You were saying,
Oh, in theory, in answer to your question, in theory, you should be able to unlock them, but I don't know if you can. And again, we're limited by our own beliefs.
totally.
So
That's what I want to know. How can we get rid of our limiting beliefs so we can access?
that's Dr. Joe Dispenza, breaking the habit of being yourself.
Mm, writing this down. So glad this is being recorded so I can take notes after. Ah, fantastic. Wow. See, that's what I love about this podcast. I can get to talk about incredible topics with awesome people like you and just learning. Amazing. Now, let's move forward. Otherwise, we can be here for till tomorrow. Not I'm complaining, but have another call soon. And, I can imagine you're busy as well. So let's move forward. Now, let's talk about your business. Tell us what you're doing now, what impact you're having in the world and all that good stuff.
What I'm doing now is actually shifting gears a little bit because I know what I'm doing still will always have a financial basis to it, helping
Mhm.
people with their numbers. Because I have a fantastic system that gets you
Sure.
total clarity on where your money's going, what you can, how to know what you can and cannot afford. So that's part of it. But I really want to help people to make the big shifts in their life. And that starts off with knowing what your important things are. Where do you want to get to? What will you really regret when you get to the end of your life if you haven't done it? Knowing what those are, knowing what your short-term goals are, what brings you alive, getting the financial clarity, and then making sure that your finances are in alignment with what you're trying to do, your big goals, so that you're not just going out and buying yourself Starbucks something or other every day to as a treat. You're actually moving towards your goals and helping them as a guide, as a Sherpa to like your change Sherpa, right? Like to get you from your shift Sherpa. I don't know how to call it, but it's getting you from where you are to where you want to be with one strategy, one bridge. Joe DiMaria and John Marino, they have a show I go to office hours every week, and they always said it's all the people are collecting all these tree ornaments, but they don't have the tree. The strategy is the tree, and the ornaments are all the different things that you can do. But without a plan, without a strategy, you're building multiple bridges at a time, or you're just tossing bricks in the air even, and not having them a way to put them together. So I help you to build that first bridge to get you from where you are to where you want to be on a map that you like. I don't tell you what to do. I give you the options. I tell you the pros and cons. You choose the path and I help you along it.
That's awesome. Wow. Now, who's the person, who's your ideal client that you can help the most and the highest with this?
Ideally, the clients that I can help the most are the ones, and don't take this the wrong way, because I want to help people who don't have the money as well, who are
Sure, absolutely.
aspiring. But if to make the biggest impact quickly, the faster, then I need to reach the bigger people. So the
Mhm.
people who possibly they already have money, they already have a business, they have a tribe, right? So if I can impact them so that their impact can be bigger. So
Sure.
ideally, it's the people who are already having some success, but they're not feeling like they're there. They don't feel like they have what they need to. They're not where they want to be yet. They want to get it to another level. They want to um, maybe pivot even and go to something else, but they're already experiencing success, and but not possible, maybe not the joy part of it, or maybe not the success that they want. Is that clear?
Yes, yes, yes. That's cool. That's awesome. Mm. What's the structure of your program? Is it like a one-on-one? Is it like a small group, big group? Is it videos? How long is the program? So tell us about all the details, the good stuff about your program.
Usually at this point it's one-to-one. um, Groups are possible, and I have done courses. I'm still doing some. I just call them mini courses because they're very short. um, so but I am focusing on the coaching and speaking. So right now it would be the one-to-one coaching. Minimum would be 3 months, because you're not going to get the shift that you're looking for in less than that. Um, Ideally, it would be a year or longer. And for the speaking is actually the part I'm most passionate about. I shouldn't say that, because I am passionate about seeing the change in people. I guess the speaking is what I'm doing more of right now. So that's one of the reasons I've created the YouTube show and podcast, is I can start putting out knowledge there. And there's only 3 episodes up, so there's not a lot of knowledge to be had yet, but there's more coming. And I want it to be every episode, other than the first one, because the first one's just my story. Every episode gives you something you can actually do to increase your prosperity, which is wealth and joy,
So
right? So always.
for your podcast, you have three. You said you have 3 episodes. It's mostly you speaking.
They're all 3 are me speaking. The
Okay.
next ones that are going up, I have some interviews done.
Yes,
Um,
that would be valuable, very helpful, especially not only what I would recommend. That's what I recommend also to my students is build an interview series where you bring in people you worked with, people you helped with, and just instead of you chasing people asking for testimonials, just bring them on a podcast to share the story. Not only is going to be a content for you, but also indirectly testimonials, so do that until you have, say, a foundation of 20, 10, 20, or even ideally 30 episodes with people you've already worked with and helped with. Let them share the story, the impact you've had on their lives. Once you have that foundation, then go out and reach out to your ideal clients and then tell them again, don't, I would not recommend just pitching them, trying to say if I can help you. No, instead, and that's what I've been doing in my business as well as other people I know. You reach out to your ideal client. You say, "Hey, Heather, I love what you're doing, and I would love for you to come on my podcast to share your story." And when they come on the podcast, you're not pitching anything. Let them know, building rapport, connection, and all that. And because you haven't been pitching, and because you have clearly identified, done your homework and identified your ideal client, they will ask you, "So what about you, Heather? What do you do?" And we tell them what you're doing, which is exactly in line with what they're doing and what they need. Say, "Hey, I need help with that. Can you help me with that?" And they say, "Sure, let's set up a time after." So this is how what I would recommend for, especially for someone like you, was all the successful what you're doing, you've been doing this for 20 plus years, that would be a no-brainer.
Well, thank you.
Very welcome.
I actually, the ones I'm interviewing aren't ones that I've done work for. They're ones that I have connected with who
Mm.
just have valuable information that I think would help the audience. So, well,
Yeah.
Penny, I do interview Penny, who is my hypnotist, but there is some good content. And my goal is that you actually need a notebook for my podcast so that you can take notes and take
Okay.
action.
Good. All right. That's awesome. Keep doing that. But also, I would recommend you do what I just said, because that can build you. Because once you have that, your podcast can become not only a lead generation machine, but also a lead education machine to educate your audience about your expertise. That's one of the main benefits of the podcast, to educate your audience that you're the expert. And that's one of the best ways is doing interviews, talking with people that you've helped with, and just, talking and interviewing your prospects. That's the most effective way, smartest way of using the podcast in a way for business.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Very welcome. Very welcome. And that's what I'm teaching my students in the 3-week challenge that I just launched last night. So this is exactly because this is very powerful. I'm surprised not many people are using it, because that can be really powerful. And I know so many people that have built 6, 7, even 8-figure businesses with zero ad spend, using only the power of podcasting in a very smart, targeted way.
Yeah, I did actually share about your upcoming class on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Awesome. Now, that's awesome. Tell me, what would you say? One of the key principle of business is having an irresistible offer. What would you say is your irresistible offer in your business?
Well, you get me.
Oh, I mean, beside that, of course, beside that, that goes without saying, you know what I mean?
That's the unique selling proposition. You get money and magic mixed together. Like,
yeah, you're the cake. What's the icing on the cake? That's what I mean.
well, I guess it would be the magic that I bring in, right? It's not just your left brain. I am not your typical accountant, financial advisor by a long shot. Never have been, never will be. And I would want to be like,
Yeah,
I'm me, and I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it enjoyable.
that's
And
key.
I'm not, just because I have so many different fields to draw upon. If I see that you have an issue with something that needs meditation, or some other sort of mindset work, or you need a bit of this or a bit of that, I'm going to bring it all in, right? Like, it's not.
While you were talking, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I just had
That's okay.
an idea that could be something. I mean, two things. One, if you can make accounting exciting and fun, you would be the most amazing accountant ever. But the one thing that would be really good for you, I don't know, just maybe thinking out loud, the spiritual accountant. That would be an amazing, branding and tagline for you.
I think I go with magic and money.
Magic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the magic is it's like a spiritual. It just, it doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
It's a great idea. It just doesn't resonate with me. Yes, I am spiritual, but I'm more magical.
And keep doing magic out there. Speak of magic, I'm sure you've helped and changed a lot of lives since you've been working in what you're doing. Share with us one example of the most remarkable transformation you've seen from one of your clients.
Let me think here, because it's, again, confidentiality is always ingrained in my
Of
head
course,
as
you
an
don't have to
accountant,
mention
right?
the names in particular, of course. Just
Yeah, no,
generally
I'm just
speaking.
trying to think of what would resonate. I mean, there's a variety. There's times when I've been on a 15-minute call with people and they've had a major breakthrough.
Wow.
Yeah, like one woman, she wasn't even a client. She's not a client. She just was someone who I was networking with, and she thought her finances were all like taken care of, locked down, not a problem. And she was talking about stuff about her and her husband. And then I was like, oh, what about that? And she's like, oh, yeah, she actually gave me a testimonial. When this would be one of the larger clients, I'll give you an example of, she put up her hand and said, I'm a millionaire and I'm totally irresponsible. And I was like, all righty. And she came into my class,
Wow.
and the issue for her is she could make money come in. No problem. It just flows, right? But
Absolutely.
she knows about, she didn't want to stop the flow by looking at where it was going after it came
Yeah.
in. And I mean, she had paid penalties that were like way too high. And I'm just, again, I fixed her too easily. She got the clarity from the course because she learned how to do the money management and get the clarity like I showed her.
How long is the
But
course again?
financial clarity for prosperity.
How long is it?
That was a 6-week one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it was actually, her breakthrough came just from an email she sent me during the course. And I messaged her back, and because she said she just really doesn't want to look. And I said, well, because she was worried it would cut off the flow. And I said, well, if you're worried about it cutting off the flow, there's already a rock in your stream. So how about we look at what the rock is so that we can toss it and get it out of the stream? And she's like, I never thought of it like that. And that cleared it right up, and she went right to
Wow.
work digging in, and she's on track. She's doing really well. She
Amazing.
doesn't feel irresponsible. Granted, she doesn't go in and do all the number stuff herself. You don't have to take that over. You can hire someone, but if you hire somebody to do your bookkeeping or anything like that, you still have to know what they're doing. You have to look at it.
Sure.
That's where so many people go wrong. They don't look.
Yeah, so true. Absolutely. How are you getting your clients?
Networking,
Are you running any ads or any marketing or
no,
no?
no, I'm not running any ads. It's, I have done surveys, and posts and social media. That's where some came from, was just answering questionnaires and things like that. I do have an email list, like, so from giveaways and speaking, but speaking is my plan for the main lead generation.
Beautiful. Yeah, that can be a very powerful one.
Well, people need to see who I am and
Absolutely.
experience my energy, right? Because
Totally.
that's part of my selling thing, is who I am.
Your
Like,
personality, you exact. That's what
yes,
people, that's what I was saying in the beginning, when people do business, when you're looking for someone, sure, they're all qualified and professional, but you look for someone you can really connect as a person. And that's how you
yes.
connect through the personality, and all that. Absolutely. Totally. Now, let's move forward. The theme of this podcast is cause, building businesses with impact, with cause and purpose. What would you say is a cause that is dear to your heart, Heather?
A cause that is dear to my heart. Um, it's raising the vibration of the planet.
Mm,
The planet's moving in a good direction. Everybody goes out and says, oh, it's going downhill. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's getting better. Look at Game of Thrones. That's what it used to be like, people.
oh yeah. Oh
We've
yeah.
come a long way. A
Oh yeah.
long way. Every decade brings so much change, and it's for the better, whether people
Totally.
realize it or not. It's for the better. The reason they think it's not is because they watch the news. Stop that.
Got the
Stop
news.
it.
I haven't watched the news for years. I still have people from when I was living in Hong Kong message me, "Hey, do you know did you see what happened?" I said, "I don't have an idea, and I don't give a damn." They're the ones
People
telling
will
me
tell
what's going
you.
on in Canada because I have no interest.
People will always tell you what's going on.
Thank you.
Saying, oh, I have to know what's going on. bullshit. Sorry, beep. They will tell you.
When
I knew
something
when
is
Notre
important, you
Dame
will hear
burned.
about it. Yes.
There's COVID cases up in Nova
Thank
Scotia.
you.
I
Yes.
found out because somebody told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to watch the news and have my energy brought down. If you get in front of a show and you walk away from that show feeling terrible or worse than you did when you sat down, it's not a good show.
Preach, preach, beautiful soul. That's exactly what I tell people all day long. Don't watch the news. It's gonna make you sad and upset for on things you have no control. Instead, focus on what you can control, what matters to you, which is yourself, your health, your business, your hobbies, things that help you make happy and raise your vibration, your frequency. Absolutely perfect. Thank you. That's
You could do a
exactly what I'm
search
saying.
online. Happy news, good things that happened today in the world. Like,
One thing I love doing, and I heard a doctor saying once if about smiling and the power of smiling and laughing. If every doctor in the world were to prescribe 1 hour of mandatory daily smiling and laughing for everyone on this planet within a month, 99% of the ailments would be gone because most of 99% of the ailments are due to stress. And when you're smiling and laughing, you make the environment inside your body toxic for stress. So again, I love watching cartoons. I still watch to Tom and Jerry's from time to time. I mean, every day, Donald Duck and things like that,
you want a
Sam the
list of the
Pirate.
cartoons I watch?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You should try Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb. Those are awesome.
Okay.
The other one by the people who created Phineas and Ferb, Milo Murphy's Law. Oh, I love
Okay.
that one. There's so many cartoons that
Yes.
I love watching, and I've
Especially
always
funny
watched.
cartoons. I love watching,
Oh
old
yeah.
French comedies. I grew up in France. I love French comedy movies from the 80s.
Did you
Absolutely
ever see
hilarious.
Spiro and Fantasio?
Yes. That sounds
Okay,
familiar. Yes, yes, yes.
it's a Canadian one.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is one of thing, we can easily do that. Is just watch, make yourself happy, make yourself laugh, make yourself smile more.
I dance when I walk around on the street. I'll have, if I have iPods. Actually, in the airport one time, I realized that I was dancing to the music in my head. So
Oblivious to what.
I put my earbuds in so people wouldn't think I was totally whack, but I was
It's
dancing.
okay, it's okay.
Did
I
you
do it too.
know that if you smile at somebody, their brain will smile back, whether it reaches
Totally,
their mouth or not? It
totally,
has been scientifically proven that if you smile
totally.
at someone, they will smile back, even if it is only internally. And when I see those videos of people like that go like to bus stops or whatever, and they just laugh on purpose to make everybody else laugh, I want to do that so badly. Like that's
Do it,
just
do it.
seems
Go on
like
a
so.
laughing spree. Go on a laughing spree, That's awesome. We need that. Seriously, we need that. What's more a better use of your time, watching the news to get pissed off, or watching a comedy, or making someone around you smile and laugh? Of course, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But so many people, their inner child is orphaned. They
Yes.
haven't
You
laughed
suppress it.
hard in a long
Oh
time,
yeah.
and they think that it's too childish to go and draw with chalk on the sidewalk or blow bubbles and hula hoop. I do all of those.
That gave me a beautiful idea to ask a very powerful question on my next podcast. When was the last time you had a heartfelt, a big laugh that you really laughed? That's a good question. When was the last time you had a really good laugh? Thank you. See, I love that question. That's awesome. Now, listen, Heather, love talking to you. You're amazing. Love your energy, your frequency, and all that. But let's wrap this up. Let me ask you now to finish some rapid fire questions on advices. Now, what would you say has been the best piece of advice you've received so far?
Be me.
Mm. How about the worst piece of advice you received so far?
Do it their way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And pay them big money to do it their way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you were now to be blessed with a time machine and go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Heather, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to her, knowing all that you know now?
I don't think I'd want to do that.
Interesting.
Well, if you change anything from the past, it would change the present. And I don't, yeah, some of it was a really shitty journey, But yeah, I wouldn't change it because it would change who I am now.
That's powerful. That's true. Love that. Now, so you have your own podcast. Imagine that today you have the most special guest in the world, which is yourself. You're interviewing yourself. What's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What is the first question that comes to your mind?
Mm, nothing's coming to my mind. Why did you wait so long to get the streak put in your hair? I don't know.
That's a good one. There you go. Awesome. Now, my favorite question to ask is what's the smallest thing you've done that has had the biggest impact in both your life and business? By small, I don't mean small, I mean the one thing. Like for me, it's been starting this podcast. What about you?
For my life and business.
Mm.
Honestly, the biggest shift I made was walking out the door in
Mm.
2015. Other than that, this year, the biggest thing was just opening an email at the right time and getting on the right networking call that just
Yes,
started a snowball all year,
totally.
all
Yeah,
year.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Synchronicities.
Totally. That's exactly it. Wow. Heather, this has been amazing, beautiful conversation. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Well, there's my website, hcabbott.ca. That's ABBOTT. Um, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Heather C. Abbott.
All right.
My handles are everywhere, HC Abbott. If you look for that, usually you'll
Awesome.
find me. Because
Awesome.
there is a Heather Abbott that was Boston
Oh, yes.
Marathon survivor. So
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, I love talking to you. This is amazing. You're an incredible person, very powerful story and powerful, equally inspiring, mission. There's so much we can talk. We haven't even mentioned about you getting those downloads. That's something I wanted to talk to you, but we have to do a part two because that's something I want to do. Definitely. Let's do
okay.
a part two for after the Christmas and January and New Year's. Definitely. I want to bring you on and so that you can share some of those incredible insights you've had through your downloads. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask you, but we'll do that for in the new year. So
All right. I look forward to it.
absolutely, me too. I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep shining your. Keep blessing the world with your presence and with your mission. Stay safe. Stay awesome. God bless you, my friend. Merry Christmas in advance and Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Absolutely, we'll definitely stay in touch. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.